So, the elementals. Well, first of all, we must perhaps clarify what we talk about when we mean the elementals. The elementals are water, air, fire, earth, and for some, wood and metal. Yes, metal from the earth, shall we say, which is different from earth itself. So from elements come the elementals. So what does that mean? Of course, what it means is the energy that comes from them. Some people have given names to what they consider to be elementals, like fairies, brownies, pixies, tree spirits, all of these types of things. And we would say yes, definitely. But the elementals are energies like the element. So when you look at fire, what is the energy that comes off fire? Yes, of course, you could say it is very hot, and there is smoke, there is light. So from fire, you have these types of energies. But what fire really gives off, the energy that it really gives off is like motion, like action. Yes, it gives action. That is what fire gives off. It is this hot-blooded action. Something is going to happen. It is like anticipation. That is what fire is. So that is the elemental of fire. It's like action. Then you look at wood. And what is wood? What is the energy of wood? Well, if you burn wood, you have fire. So it is sort of like the precursor to action. But wood itself does not burn unless you do something to it. So, of course, it cannot be anything to do with action, because something has to happen to it for it to be acting. It is the same thing. Wood can become a house. Wood can become a boat. Wood can become many things. But by itself, it does not do that. By itself, it just sits there. So you can say that wood, it's like contemplation. Wood is about thinking. It is about quiet. It's about thought. So we will say wood, the energy of wood is contemplation. Some people say because wood is so dense, it is thick and dense, that how can it be about contemplation? Because when you think about the human being, when they are thick and dense, they do not contemplate, do they? They do not think. But the denseness and the thickness of the wood adds a depth that would not be there, or is not there, in something, say, like water. Yes, water can be very deep, but you can put your hand straight through water. But you cannot do that with a tree. So it adds a depth. It adds a profoundness to it. So the contemplation has to be very deep. That is why the wood is the energy of contemplation. So then now we come to water. Water itself, this could be action, because as well, it can move very fast, and it can create wondrous things. It can create much damage, so there is a lot of action in water. But also with water there is contemplation, because when it is very still, and when the light shines on it, it puts the mind into thought, so there can be contemplation. But what water, the energy that water gives off, is like, it is variety. Anything is possible. With water, many things are possible. Water is the only element, if you like, that can be everything. It can be solid, it can be liquid, it can be gas. So it has, in a way, infinite variety. So we can say water gives the energy, the elemental energy of variety. Maybe you would like to use a better word for you, might be limitlessness. But we like variety. Then we have the earth. What can the earth, the element of the earth, what energy does that give off? Earth gives off the energy of life. Because from the earth springs so much life. People can say that, what is it that they say in their ceremonies? Dust to dust. Ashes to ashes, back into the earth. The earth is like dust, and is like life comes from the earth. If you give life to the earth, life will come from the earth. So it is this natural process of giving and taking of life. But mainly life is the energy or the elemental of the element of earth is life. So then we have air. Well, air could be said to be life as well, because without air, there is no life. But air has more of a spiritual quality to it. Air has something that, yes, you breathe it in, but when you breathe in air, it's like it fills the whole body. And it is like a spirit, yes? It is like you can imagine the spirit, a whiff of air. It's like the spirit. So, the elemental energy of the element air is spirit. And then finally we come to metal. Or ore, whatever you want to call it. Let us just say metal. Metal is, as you know, strong and can be rigid. But actually, metal can be made into many things. It is actually malleable. And again, we come to something that seems not quite right. Because when we talked about wood, and we said it was contemplative, but wood is dense and deep, how can this be contemplative? And we told you why. Because that gives it the depth. It is the same, so it is like an opposite. Then you have metal, and it is the same with metal. You would say metal is rigid, it is hard, it is heavy. But you can do many things with metal. It is malleable. And that is the elemental that comes from metal, is malleability. And finally, they are the 6 considered elements of the planet, yes? But there is one that is not considered an element, and even as we say it, you will say it is not really an element, but it is where a very strong elemental energy comes from. And so we believe that it is very important. And that is the crystals. The crystalline grid, if you like, of cryon, or just crystals, in all of their many and varied forms. And by crystals we mean the gems that are very rare and expensive and popular, like the diamonds and the rubies, all the way down to the quartz. These crystals, these are in a way the personification of the elementals. They are the one thing in the earth, in the planet, that can encompass all of the elementals into one. The crystal represents the contemplation, the malleability, the life, the action, the variety, the life. The spirit is what we have forgotten. How could we forget the spirit? The crystal alone represents all of those things. It's not represents, they are personification of all of those things. Because it takes all of those things to make the crystal. You understand? All of those. And then the energy that emanates from the crystal is all of those things. It is very special. So we would say the crystal is the ultimate element, and that it emanates and encompasses all of the other aspects, all the other elementals of the elements, if you like. So there we have clarified what we call the elementals, the elements. And then you can say, well, but people, they say they are the fairies and they are the pixies and the gnomes and all of these types of things. And when you look at the names that they give to these elementals, what we have said are elementals, and then there are the names. Where do the gnomes come from? They come from under the ground. Where do the fairies come from? Some come from the trees, some come from the air, some come from the water. You have the water nymphs. So, you see there, these energies, these what they call the elementals, are actually names for the elementals of the elements we have given you. Action, life, variety, all of these types of things. You see? They have just given a name, a particular name. So you can say the fairies and the gnomes, etc., but what you are really saying are what we have said are the elementals of the elements. It is the same thing. We are just giving you a picture that perhaps is more relevant to you now than fairies and gnomes and goblins, etc., etc. So how can you use them? Well, we have already said that crystals are the personification, the ultimate element. So you could gather crystals and place them either on the garden or on top, or plant them within the garden. You could say that you are find out the energy that is considered to be a particular crystal. And just like in many organic and biodynamic farming, what do? They put into the soil what is required, right? So for what? Yes, it's for the soil, but also for the plant that they are planting in there, because they believe, as you know, that the soil is the life force. So the same thing. Yes, you can do this to your soil, but also look at the different crystals. Research the different crystals. What is it that you want from this particular garden bed? What is it that you want? What are you wanting to give to this particular plant or this particular soil? Then you find the crystal that goes with that. Yes, it is going to give that energy, because the wonderful thing with crystals is that, yes, they are the personification of all of these elements that we have said, but their spirit has also a very particular attribute, and that is what they will emanate. You see? So it might be as simple for you that you want to grow pomegranates. So, red, garnet, ruby. Or perhaps you want to grow the best lemons in the world, citrine. You see? Maybe it is as simple as that you are just going for the color. And you think because the color is very important. The color itself will imbue the plant with whatever it is you're wanting, the sweetness, the sourness, the juiciness, the thin skin, whatever, the bounty. Maybe this is what. So, the crystal, as we say, is a personification of all the elements, but in itself, it also has another spirit, another something that it can give. So, research the crystals. Look for what it is you want in your garden. What are you wanting this soil to give to this plant? Put the crystals around the plant. Put the crystals underneath. Plant one with the roots. Whatever it is you want to do. And then what you are doing, you are saying to nature, you are saying to the universe, you are saying to the elements, I trust in your ability. Whatever you require, let me know. Because I trust you to know. And I trust that you will do whatever you can do so you can do your job well. This is the job I want. This is the job I have for you. I have this lemon tree and I wish it to be abundant. I wish it to be the yellowest lemons. I wish them to be juicy. Whatever it is that you want. I wish that there to be no bugs or whatever. And this is the job I have for you. Please let me know what it is that I have to do. What I have to do to provide you with everything you need to allow this to happen. You see? So then what is happening? You have set this dialogue up, not just with the crystal, but with all of the elements. And you are also saying to the plant, you must tell this crystal what it is you require. Then the crystal will communicate with me. And we will have this patter going. And we can help each other. We can help each other. And what is happening is that you are just becoming one with that energy. That is all. You are just becoming one with that energy. And you may get, because you do not always trust your own thoughts, you may get some strange thoughts into your head. And it may be something that you have never thought of to put in the garden, or never thought to. Maybe they say you need to burn a fire here. Maybe that is what it is. And you think, but why would I burn a fire? Maybe they want the nitrogen. Maybe they want something is going to leach into the ground, that if you dug it into the ground wouldn't work. It has to actually leach in. Maybe they want the smoke. Maybe they want purification. Maybe they want action. More action is required. So that's why. You see? And then you will think, this is very strange. It must be my own mind. This is too crazy. But that is when you must think, well, I would not normally have thought of that myself. That is not something I would do. So it's probably not from me. It's probably from the plant. It's probably from the crystal to tell me this. Or maybe you think, yes, I've done that before and it hasn't worked. So that's my thought. But it's coming again and it didn't work, so maybe I'll try it again. Maybe I'll do it in a different way. Or maybe say, yes, I've tried that before and it worked very well, I'll try it again. That sounds good to me. You see? It doesn't matter what comes into your head, because the more bizarre it is, it's probably not yours. And the more conservative it probably is yours. But maybe it's just from your consciousness and they're going, come, do this again. This was good. We liked it. You see? So it is just setting up this connection, this communication channel.